Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the first episode of HeelCast. This is your boy Frankie Fame, and with me is the Mad Dog. Say what's up, Vinny.
What's up? What's up?
Vinny Fucci in the house.
Frankie Fame.
This is take 2 of our podcast. We had some technical difficulties on our first take. Very embarrassing. And I take no blame for that. I am blaming it all on Fucci.
Hey, whoa. There you go. He's with the swerve.
There it is. It's all about heel, man. Right now, I am up on a scoreboard.
You already did jump up. Early lead. This guy with the swerve.
Big weekend, Vinny.
It
Talk
is.
about WrestleMania. But before we get into that, we are also both big NBA fans. Season's
Go
winding
Bulls.
down. So let's open up with that. Who are your picks to go to the Eastern Conference Finals, the Western Conference Finals, and who do you think is going to take it all the way?
Oh, man. It's the West, the Wild, Wild West. I'm going to start there because that is every team from 1 to 8 can be contenders. I like Coach Pop. And I'm going to say that the Spurs take one more run into the Western Conference Finals. And I think that the Spurs will end up playing... man, it's so deep. I'm trying to...
Well, my pick for the West, unless some crazy happens, we'll have to go with the favorite for the entire season, which has been Golden State.
Golden State's been on fire. I mean,
They have been in the biggest improvement for them. They've been an offensive team for the past 2 seasons, and the biggest question is, do they have the defense?
Yeah.
Contenders. And this season, bro, they've been proving it.
I mean, they're the 59-13. That's a tremendous record for the Golden State Warriors, and Steph Curry is just getting better year after year. Is this year their year? I don't.
This is their year where it's okay for them to be the favorite and to bank a team to bank on. I have them either playing the Los Angeles Clippers or the San Antonio Spurs.
Golden State, San Antonio.
I have San Antonio there. It would be a great rematch from 2 seasons ago.
Yes.
When San Antonio eliminated Golden State, it was a close. That was a good series.
Did they go to 7?
Huh?
Did they go to 7?
I believe so, but that's really for me where Steph Curry shined.
Yeah.
That series was just coming out that was his coming out party. He was throwing threes like he was not missing.
No, and Steph Curry's clutch, and then they have a lot of playmakers on that team. Klay Thompson, come on, the kid is good, and
that's why I want the Clippers to play them, because talk about Lob City, bro. That Clippers are the most exciting team to watch in basketball.
Yeah, a buddy of mine actually made the joke that they were the poor man's Utah Jazz.
I call them the modern age Seattle Supersonics from '96.
From '96.
The original Lob City.
Sean Kemp, Gary Payton.
Yeah. All right. Moving on. Eastern Conference.
Eastern Conference. Well, I'm going to be biased and say that the Bulls.
I have Chicago up there too. I have Chicago, Toronto, and Cleveland. 3 picks.
You're dispelling Atlanta's chances? You think they were just a season wonder?
Here's the thing with Atlanta. This is not the first time that Atlanta is clinching the playoffs on first place. They're like the opposite of the Spurs. The Spurs could enter in the playoffs, 8 seed or 7 seed, but they are a different team come postseason than they are in a regular season. And Atlanta is the opposite of that. They could be the greatest team all season long, but they seem to not get it together playoff time.
Fair. That's a fair assessment. I completely agree.
I mean, that is a trend that just keeps happening.
Well,
I think actually it's tougher to be an Atlanta Hawks fan than it is to be a New York Knicks fan. Because the
ah,
Knicks fan, you know it's over. You know it's done.
it's finito.
You know, Atlanta would lead you to believe like this is our year. Psych, we're fired. We're done.
um, you know what it is? As a Bulls fan, and speaking of trends, I don't want to play the Wizards. I don't want to play them.
Uh, Here's why I like the Bulls. A couple of their injured players, Jimmy Butler and Taj Gibson,
Right?
by the time playoffs roll around, they're back in their groove.
They are, but the Wizards always have our number. It never fails.
I don't know, man. I think Chicago has a deeper team.
Oh,
I As far as bench goes, man, you cannot Nikola. He's a fucking beast.
Nicola.
Paul Gasol, continued to carry that team when everyone else got hurt, and now he's gonna have a supporting cast with him against John Wall, who's amazing, but John Wall breaks under pressure.
Well, I don't think. I think if the Bulls get to Washington, and that comes to a head, it's going to be competitive. I do like. Let me just state for the record, I was not a fan of Soft Gasol being signed to the Bulls.
You mean Paul Gasol?
So, but he's been one hell of a contributor to that team this year, and he could be a difference maker, sure. But man, we need other guys to step up. I mean, I love Butler. I think he could do some damage. Nikola, like you said, he's come along. Tony Kukoc, 2015.
Modern era Tony Kukoc.
Modern era Tony Kukoc, and
you got Mike Dunleavy, the modern era Steve Kerr.
yeah,
Not as consistent.
Mike Dunleavy. I wish Dougie McBuckets wasn't hurt because he's gonna have a bright future if he can stay healthy. And
let's move on to the MVP, man. Who your picks?
Man, it's tough. Westbrook, Harden, Curry, even LeBron James sneaking back in there too. But I think if the Golden State Warriors can win out, and I mean they've already clinched, and that's great. But if they could win out for the rest of the season, and Steph Curry continues to play and put up the numbers he's been putting up, I'm going to say Steph Curry is the MVP.
I don't know, man. My top 3 picks are the Beard.
Okay.
I have Curry up there. Westbrook, I don't, because he is getting this exposure that's happening after the All-Star break when he came back from the injury, but he wasn't there for majority of first half of the season.
True, but he's also carrying the Thunder team.
I have to put up Anthony Davis.
The unibrow.
Bro, this guy is a beast. He's carrying that team.
Yeah, he is. And speaking of carrying teams, and something that we touched on before is how Drew Holiday is just chilling right now.
Dude, the coach. Perfect segue into my next question. Rookie of the Year, Narlene's Noel. Let me talk to you about screwing the pooch. Pelicans.
The Pelicans are screwed.
How could you let homeboy go for Drew Holiday? Narlene's Noel is putting up, I think his past 3 games, homeboy put up like 10 blocks. More than 20 rebounds. And around 40 points. You know how destructive it would be if you had him and Anthony Davis in the same team?
Man, I think the Pelicans, and I hate that name, but I think the colors are awesome. They're a couple years away from getting it together, but Anthony Davis is, whatchamacallit, he's definitely the centerpiece of that team. And New Orleans Noah, that I mean, is he
No,
gonna?
that could have been. Remember, all right, centerpiece of the team. Wasn't David Robinson at one time the centerpiece for the Spurs? What happened when they brought in Tim Duncan?
Well,
Oh, I remember. It was a championship.
okay,
Became
and
a
that.
championship team.
Oh, okay, I get that, but Robinson was also at the tail end of his career.
Exactly. So imagine like two young bucks. No one would get any points against them. Like nothing.
Ah, man. Well, I think the
It would be
Pelicans.
like getting in a tag team match against the Klitschko brothers. They would fuck you up all day.
Oh shit.
All right, we've been talking a lot about basketball. Let's jump into Mania.
All right.
Kick it off, Vinny.
WrestleMania weekend. We are here, 31. So I guess we'll touch upon the big news first. Is that Brock has resigned with the WWE and will not go back to MMA. He has closed the door.
And let me tell you something. He worked everyone. That little photo that he had taken with him and Dana White, that is the greatest work. Vince McMahon, the diabolical mind. He told Brock, "Hey Brock, fly out there. Let's fabricate this. That we have this conflict happening. That you walked out on Raw. They were sitting backstage slapping their knees on how funny it was because we finally got one over on the interweb. All these freaking geeks. Nah, 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 nah. We got big ups to Vince McMahon on that one. They kept it quiet. They kept it off the dirt sheet. Meltzer wasn't saying nothing about it. No one in the internet. No one in the dirt sheet. Nothing.
No, and it's funny because when that happened, it happened, and then it got swept up like, oh, Brock walked out over contract negotiations, and that was that.
No, that happened, and then a week later, he shows up at UFC.
Oh, right. He showed up that Saturday.
Yeah. So bravo, Vince McMahon.
Well, so
and
with
to
that
make the announcement, LeBron James style on ESPN.
I'm taking my talents to sports entertainment.
I'm taking my talents, and I'm keeping it here in Stamford, Connecticut.
So with that said, that I guess we'll stop. Usually we'll start from the top. Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns has become a little more interesting.
It has become more interesting, and a big part of it is not this week on Raw, but last week. It was a pretty cryptic promo by Paul Heyman, followed up by this week. They did a podcast, a sit-down podcast with Heyman, Michelle Beadle, and Roman Reigns. And the two of them are very chummy. So, like, right off the bat, I don't think, I mean, WWE has done a lot of rehashing storylines that didn't work, but I don't know. I like to say that we might see a repeat of the Survivor Series.
A screw job?
No, a heel turn via Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar.
Well, I think Seth Rollins is winning that main event.
I believe that too.
Now, the swerve. I mean, Rollins could leave the Authority and join with Heyman. I mean, he doesn't need a mouthpiece, but Rollins and Heyman against the face Brock Lesnar. Mind blow, right? Right? I mean,
my stadium would fucking explode. That would be the best thing that happened all season long, because the San Francisco 49ers ain't gonna electrify the crowd.
Like, the San Francisco's can't electrify a crowd. They lost half their team in the offseason. Ha! Go Giants.
That's what I'm talking about. All right, so but for Seth Rollins to cash in, I think it makes sense for Brock Lesnar to retain the title. I think it would be a waste for Roman Reigns to win the title, and that would just kill his momentum.
Honestly, I don't care if Reigns wins. I mean, I care if Reigns wins the title, but I I can't get on this Roman train here, the Roman Reigns train, because the guy is still green. He was the cleanup of the Shield. He can't. I don't know. I feel like
He
he
took Chris Hero's spot.
that yeah, and you know he was very green when they pulled him up, and he did good in his role in the Shield. But as a singles guy, I can't buy into him. Not yet. I don't see anything. He has a look. Uh, his characters did a big dive with his suffering and succotash, son. Like,
Well, I mean, well, that's the thing. I mean, his promo wasn't nearly ready. I think they should have put a mouthpiece on him. Uh, trying to think, they could have grabbed someone from the independent, like I mean, not independent, someone from development that could talk and just like paired him up with him. Like,
you should have gave him Enzo.
I was just thinking that, but no, they have Enzo and Big Cass. How you doing?
How you doing?
Gearing up to take those tag team titles. I can't wait for that.
And you can't teach that.
Can't teach it.
Right. So
Well, another thing too, another outcome that might happen is Brock Lesnar might just end up winning and close the show out. I know that there's been talks in the WWE. They're saying that Daniel Bryan's supposed to win the ladder match, and Cena's supposed to win the U.S. title, and those are going to be the featured main events and storylines going forward, working around Brock's schedule.
right, and you know I'm not against that. I think that helps both titles with both those guys holding it. It sucks for Daniel Bryan that he is where he is from a year ago, but Daniel Bryan.
The competition that's competing in the IC, I love. They just made that whole thing relevant again.
And you brought me to my point. Daniel Bryan's going to have a variety of different matches and different opponents. He's not going to be weighed down by Big Show and Kane every week. So, you know, so it's a blessing in disguise for Bryan to be in the position that he's in. And I think Cena
here too for guys who were stuck in that mid card, like Bad News Barrett, who never broke through.
Yeah,
that next level. But I mean, a big part of it is injuries. He's been injured a lot. I think this is that storyline is going to be good for Ambrose as well, to pretty much find that right direction, because Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns just took off to the races and kind of just left Ambrose behind.
Well, I don't want to, I think that goes to WWE booking, because Ambrose was hot.
Of course it does, yeah, a lot of it does, but then again, like, it's one of those things, like, did they screw the pooch?
You know what? The WWE creative is like a room full of walruses bouncing a ball around with ideas in there and putting them together. There's no continuity with their storylines. There's no logic, and that's been a problem for years. It's
has been a problem for your boys, the Ascension. What are they doing?
I know.
Hold on, 2 weeks. 2 weeks. I've been on YouTube and I'm like catching up on superstars and main event. In 2 weeks they had 4 matches. Guess how many matches they won?
One?
None.
Jeez. Well, I guess we could say that the Ascension has descended. Yeah, I was a big fan. I don't, I think that they came up with a bad stigma of being the next Road Warriors, and that's a problem with today's fans too. Is everything is nothing. I mean, everything in pop culture, movies, comics, whatever, what have you, is ripped off from something else. So I mean,
so blatantly.
What?
They did it like blatantly. They're like, they came in with the shoulder pads with the face paints.
Well, they should have just came up as they had been in NXT. They didn't need those extra bells and whistles, but I guess that's the difference between the main roster and NXT.
that makes me fearful of like guys that I love in NXT and how they're gonna get treated once they get there. I almost want to root against any of them moving to the main roster and just kind of make NXT its own brand. Like, just bro, just stay there. Like,
Well,
no greener pastures up there. Look at what happened to Xavier Woods.
oh,
Look,
Xavier was awesome at
look
NXT.
at what happened to Big E.
Look what happened to Adam Rose. Look what happened to Bo Dallas. No
No,
one's
Bo Dallas is hurt, bro.
Yeah, I know.
Bo Dallas is gonna come back. He's gonna go crazy because no one likes him, and he's gonna be Bray Wyatt's follower, Bo Wyatt.
Bo, I'm waiting for that. At some point, I guess that they'll touch upon that. I think that's the best way to go is to kind of keep it together because the sibling thing is cool, except for Goldust and Stardust, who apparently.
Don't get me started on that. That is actually the only thing I do not like about this Intercontinental ladder match.
The Stardust.
Yeah, they
It should be Goldust and Stardust, and they should have just went with it.
Bro, they had the thing set up. Last pay-per-view, that garbage fucking, what was it? Fastlane?
Yeah.
Fastlane to WrestleMania. They had that match that, all right, Goldust won, and then backstage, Stardust attacked him. They didn't follow up with that. I would have came up with a storyline with like, hey, he's pretty much convincing him to drop the thing, calling him Cody. They got the crowd behind it because the crowd is like eating it up, calling him Cody, like, and he's like playing off this, I'm going crazy, don't call me Cody, Cody's dead. That could have been a stipulation. Like, I beat you, you dropped the Stardust gimmick, you beat me, I end my career.
Oh, and they bang right there, and it doesn't even have to be a long match. Give it 15.
It doesn't have to be a long match. It could be like a 15-minute thing. And the greatest thing is, imagine, especially with the history of Dusty and Goldust, have Dusty turn heel.
Dusty turns heel. Oh, I don't, but I think that would require Dusty to be on TV some more. And right now, he's good for, I guess, the cameo spots, but to have him, I guess to get Cody over.
To get him a lot more heat.
But remember Dusty with NWO, baby, and he didn't really do that well there at the heel.
But Dusty with the NWO, baby, did not have Vince McMahon saying, hey, no.
All right, well, we could agree to disagree on that one.
That's really what it is. I mean, as great as WCW was, they ran around like a bunch of fucking hooligans. And
oh, yeah.
Stuff is the biggest. I mean, he is so brilliant, but I wish he would have managed his talents better. Because he pretty much did it to himself. He shot himself in the foot.
Yeah. It's such a weird period to be a wrestling fan, speaking of talent, because there's so much talent, and yet it's like it's like me and you could sit here and come up with 40,000 different storylines about what guys should go do, whatever the case is, and on TV it just comes off flat, and and I get it. It's geared not towards us anymore, and there's a lot of alternatives for guys like you and me who could go and check out. I'm a big fan of Lucha Underground. I
don't have that channel, so I've just been catching like the video package that they put on Facebook.
I see what they can on I'm sorry, yeah, I watch what I can on YouTube because they have their own YouTube channel. It's usually a match or two, and I try to follow what I can. But I think if they could get a network established where they get more viewers, I'm not going to say that they'll rival the WWE, but they have a good chance of rivaling TNA.
Or partner up with TNA.
Or partner up with TNA. Well, but I know that they have what the hell's that word I'm looking for? They have a partnership with AAA or CMLL, one or the other.
No, they do have a partnership with AAA. That's how they got Del Rio.
So,
El Patron!
El Patron! Don't call him Mexican or he's going to slap you in the face. Good for Del Rio.
Do it.
Good for him.
Before we go off tracks even more, we
Uh,
talked a little bit about the ladder match. So, are we in agreement that Daniel Bryan is the clear favorite?
uh, I think Daniel Bryan's a clear favorite with Dolph Ziggler in a close second. It's going to be one of those two because I don't see Ambrose winning the belt yet.
You know who uh I wish this guy would win, but there's no chance in hell that
Are
would allow it because Vince is, from his track record, he doesn't really favor the African American people. But I would love it if R-Truth wins.
I would love it if R-Truth wins too. They need more. R-Truth is a good character, and I like R-Truth. I've liked R-Truth since he was pretty quick, bro. So my fandom.
With me, I got on the R-Truth bandwagon. What? Remember when he finally had a match for the title against John Cena? It was that card Capital Punishment.
Uh-huh.
A week before that, he came out in full Confederate.
Oh, what he was doing the whole conspiracy thing.
I was sold. And he was doing a little Jimmy gimmick. I was sold. I loved it. I was like,
Oh, that was a great gimmick.
put a belt on this guy right now.
R-Truth, he's a great character, man, and he's not a bad worker. I would love to see it, but I don't think he's gonna get it. It's gonna go to either. It's definitely Bryan, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was Ziggler.
I could see that. But Dolph Ziggler, another trend that the WWE has been doing, 2 straight clean wins against Daniel Bryan, leading up to WrestleMania.
Okay.
You know how they play that game?
Yeah.
Whoever gets the upper hand the week before is usually, that's like a bad spell. That's like getting the Madden cover.
That you're right.
In it for a bad season. Look, Derrick Rose got the NBA Live, and look what happened. His knees was never the same.
That's true.
That's
Well, so all right. So by the curse of the momentum the week before, I guess Daniel Bryan will be the one to knock Ziggler off the ladder for the IC title.
all right. And I actually hope I hope that Dolph Ziggler turns heel again.
In time, we'll see.
I mean, he did call him a turd.
Well, so did Ambrose.
Ambrose is allowed to do that. He's crazy.
Well, speaking of heels, I think Bray Wyatt has been doing some phenomenal work building up this match on his own.
There's a meme going on with him and The Undertaker where it's just Undertaker like, hey, Bray, thanks for selling this match.
I saw that. Yeah, like thank you,
Just
Bray.
like, "Oh, you're welcome."
Yeah, it's like I saw one that says Bray, the carrier of feuds.
This
This is a big one because now that the Undertaker's lost, does he lose again? Because Bray needs this win in order. I feel that Bray needs the win, and there can't be no bullshit.
Have you read that thing that went on in the dirt sheet on how they might have Bray slated to win, have a phenomenal year, and then have a rematch next year in Dallas with Taker, where Taker wins and calls it a career?
Huh.
Because I read that somewhere.
Well, I was under the impression that it was going to be Sting and Undertaker closing out together.
Well, Sting just did an interview this week, and he said depending on how his body feels, right now he's leaning more towards to calling it quits after this one.
Huh.
That's a tall order, man. I mean, I was never really a big Sting fan. I mean, the gimmick was cool. In ring, I wasn't really a fan of his.
I've been a big fan of Sting. It's cool to see him back. I think if Sting's feeling good and they go forward with this, it's a 15 years too late match with Sting and the Undertaker.
it is. I mean, I guess that's like a match that would make sense, but I don't know, man. How is he gonna look against Hunter? I mean,
Well,
yeah, Hunter Here's the thing. I don't like what they're doing with Hunter because he's really been the guy that's been jobbing to people on the biggest show.
And for
When-
him to lose, yeah,
When's his last big win against Brock Lesnar?
yeah,
Because he had a back-to-back loss to Taker, and then the Daniel Bryan thing, and like now it's
so,
Sting. Like, man,
yeah. So
I love the game, bro. I don't. I mean, I love that character. I love how much of a heel he is, and I don't like the fact that. I mean, this is the biggest show, like for for casual wrestling fans who only like get around to seeing like this one show. This is the one representation. I'm like, I don't like Triple H being represented as the guy that jobs on the biggest show. You're talking
uh,
about a career that spanned from WrestleMania 12. For me, he has one big win, and that was when he beat Jericho for the undisputed title. He had
and
amazing moments, matches with Taker and everything, but he's always came in a losing end.
and his WrestleMania record's actually not that hot either.
No,
Man, so Sting and Triple H also is missing something. There's nothing on the line.
that's true.
Why is Sting? Why? Okay, that's great that Sting doesn't like seeing Triple H, being uh, manipulative and da da da. I get that, but why? I mean, there's nothing on the line. Like Triple H needs to step down, kind of thing, like for good. Because this authority gimmick, it's run its course. I'm tired of seeing.
Uh, you know what though? This is a good time to wrap it up. It's good that they kept it going for this long because, like you said, what's his name? Seth Rollins might leave the authority. Come tomorrow. Have him cash in tomorrow. Well, tomorrow night. Come Monday. Like, congratulations party. And like, we knew you were always our guy. Like, I'm not your guy. I'm a Paul Heyman guy. Ah,
Uh,
the smug walk.
oh man. So, uh, does Sting win? I guess Sting has to win, right?
I don't know. I think this is a match that makes no sense.
If you really, if
You
you
break
get
it down in like context, like what, like you said, you just mentioned it. Like there was nothing on the line. Like why? How could they fail to like? How could they fail that part? Like wait a minute, like you guys are just gonna wrestle.
there's no big implication for this on the biggest stage of them all.
There's one thing on how Triple H is saying that I'm finally gonna put WCW to rest. Like the last lingering thought of that company, I will destroy. That's nice. What are you
Okay.
doing?
No one cares anymore.
Yeah, like what are you? You're gonna lose and you're gonna come back as Heath Ledger in the Dark Knight? You're gonna do that gimmick again?
Oh man. So I mean, as the fanboy in me is looking forward to the match, but and I think that's all it is. It's just Sting versus Triple H,
Well,
and that's the sell.
the fan in me, and you know this, and the internet's gonna explode because I was not a WCW fan.
Right? No,
Well,
you were never you never.
the fan
Never
in me does not like this match because it favors Sting, and it does nothing for like if he wins, what is he gonna do? He's not gonna go on a full time schedule.
nope.
Whereas Triple H is there every week producing great stuff for TV, great storylines. He's doing amazing work for the company, and he is pretty much the bitch boy. Like, here you go, pal. Like Vince, like, hey, pal, take this one for the team. Why don't you job? Come on. Yeah. Like, hey, pal, come on, bro. Like, nah, end it. Like, I'm not looking forward to that. To me, the Bray Wyatt match and the Undertaker match, that's something. I mean, that's something I'm really excited for.
That could be really just visually. That could be really cool too.
Entrance alone.
Yeah, those entrances should be pretty badass. So those are the big matches. How do we feel about the tag titles being regulated to the pre-show?
Uh, look,
Cesaro and Kid once again.
I'm happy. I am happy that Tyson Kidd and Cesaro finally gets recognition. I think pound for pound, skill wise, no one matches with those two.
No.
And it's a fucking shame that it took Total Divas to put them over.
Yeah.
Total Divas and the love for cats.
Yeah.
You know, especially what they've done with Cesaro. Cesaro, for a while he was trying to make his name, did not have that WWE handcuff. And that's where he showed like crazy feats of his strength, like doing absolutely crazy shit to like people 3 or 4 times his fucking size.
And he doesn't do any of that anymore.
Oh, WWE realized that, like, wait a minute, we don't want you to be the guy. Here's some handcuff, and you're gonna do like silly shit. Like, I was super pissed when he was having right around Thanksgiving time, he was having like stupid matches with Dean Ambrose getting squashed.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
not like of offense, like he was just taking a beating.
Well, I think for a time Cesaro was in the doghouse for being outspoken. Is that how the WWE?
About what? How good he is?
Yeah.
But I mean, all right, why put him in a doghouse for that? And Vince McMahon to come on TV like he does not have the personality. So he's pretty much contradicting himself because here's Cesaro trying to push himself out to the next level to grab that brass ring, but then you're gonna punish him. Like some of this stuff doesn't make sense.
No, and this is the second year that Cesaro's on the pre-show, but I guess it is what it is. I hope they retain.
I hope they retain. I don't like that Rikishi is getting inducted, and that they're doing the thing in San Francisco.
Usos.
Uso's house.
But isn't one of them injured, Jimmy?
One of them is injured, but
I don't. So I mean,
hey, listen, as long as it's not the New Day. If the New Day wins it,
I
probably won't even continue watching the card. I'm like, wow, that is.
I'm turning this off. I'm not gonna even sit here and watch the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, which has also got moved to the pre-show.
It did.
And that's another thing. Cesaro won that Battle Royal with a lot of momentum, and I'll forever say this from last year. Cesaro should have been given the gimmick of being a threat in the Royal Rumble or in a Rumble type match.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to win all the time. But when Cesaro comes to that ring, that's going to be a problem. Which means when the Royal Rumble actually rolls around, he could be maybe Cesaro could win. They dropped the ball big time with that, and now it's on the pre-show. I don't know. Who do you?
Not just that, Cesaro was in that purgatory role for the longest time until he tagged in with Kid. For the longest time, he was just jobbing like, bro, he was jobbing to Jack Swagger for the longest time.
Yeah.
And for what? For them to build up Jack Swagger as a legitimate threat to Rusev, who would just demolish him? It didn't make sense. Like, I mean, it's good that he's a champ now. It's good that he's still a heel. And, as much as I love heels, I think the best fit for Cesaro is being a face.
I thought Swagger's move to face I thought Swagger always probably would have benefited better as a face, and that's coming off topic. But I like Cesaro as a heel. They just don't let him talk. That's the problem, too. You don't get much of his character by him. I mean, he has great strength and he does amazing things, but I need to hear the guy talk too. Sell me. And I think that's a problem.
I don't know. I think you need to take those handcuffs off and let him do his thing, because if he was producing matches like he did right before the Andre the Giant Memorial, like the stuff that he was doing for NXT and the stuff that he was doing with matches with Mark Henry and Khali, and like that's what he did. He did not need to talk.
Nope. Well, now that we got the Rumble here, we got 20 guys. with Hideo Itami being the last guy to be
That
introduced to the Rumble.
was a disappointment. I wanted Finn Balor to be there
Uh,
because
I don't.
I do not think that Finn Balor is going to win the NXT title. I think he's going to leapfrog right into the roster because he's a name that keeps coming up. That's everyone's saying like he's ready.
Well,
He's
they
ready.
want. You know why they want him up there also? Because of his badass demon paint and merchandise. Because look at the.
Hold on, which sold out at the house show that I went to.
They were sold out.
Sold out.
Wow.
They still had Kevin Owens T-shirt.
But
Like,
Finn Balor.
trying to push that, and like Finn Balor's is out. And
Wow.
I mean that's the thing because I mean he was there, he performed.
He's going to be a great addition to the roster, and I hope that they really don't drop the ball with him because
I don't think they're going to.
I don't think so. I don't think so either.
I think he's one of those like anomalies. Like there's just something special with him. He is like, you know what he has? He has that Jeff Hardy enigma,
Okay.
but he's a good wrestler.
He has a unique gimmick.
Yeah, like he pulls it together where like people gravitate towards him, and man, kids love Jeff Hardy. As often as homeboy screwed up, they
Yeah.
loved him, and he like that same like aura that Jeff Hardy has. Finn Balor carries it, but Finn Balor does it more epically. Like that entrance,
That's an epic entrance.
a WrestleMania worthy entrance for the NXT shows. Imagine what that does. Like the yearly thing. If he only puts on the mask yearly, that's a gimmick right there. Like, what is he gonna do this year?
Right.
Because remember, Mysterio was doing it for a while. He was doing like comic book characters, and if you follow Finn Balor's career, he came out as the Punisher. He came out. I mean, the thing that he's doing right now is very. It reminds me of Carnage.
It's very. But he's done Carnage.
He's done Carnage too. He's
done
done
Venom.
Joker.
Yeah, he and it's funny because I was listening to an interview from Balor, and he was shooting the idea to like one of his boys or something, saying, "I think I'm gonna try this whole body paint thing and see how it goes." And this guy was like, "Nah, it's not gonna work." And look what happened. So it worked. It worked tenfold, and he's gonna have a great career once he gets up to the main roster. Now, Itami in this battle royal is interesting too.
Itami's small, bro. I think it's gonna show like you're really gonna see like the he's gonna be dwarfed by everyone there.
And yeah,
one thing about Itami though, I woke up and I saw this notification. At one of the shows during the WrestleMania.
He hit the GTS.
He did the GTS.
Yeah, he did the GTS. So maybe he does it at Mania.
Huh?
Maybe he does it at Mania, or in the Rumble.
You can't even get mad at that because that's a move that he created.
Well, and Daniel Bryan's moveset is half of his moveset too.
Exactly, and like. But none of the marks knows that. You're gonna have these little fucking kids whose parents pay for everything, and they're gonna be like, "Oh, who is this? Who is this Dragon Ball looking motherfucker?"
But that's why they got us smart marks to do this.
Yeah.
We let you know.
Listen up, you little punk bitches.
That's Kenta.
Who the fuck is that? We know Kenta, and Kenta's a fucking shit. Hey. Look, if you go back in like the Ring of Honor and the Dragon Gate deal, your top guys right now in the WWE, I do not think have wins over Kenta. Seth Rollins, I've seen matches with him and Kenta. Kenta stayed whooping that ass. And same thing with Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
But the one thing that I am afraid of though is the Vince McMahon factor.
And I think that's a bit.
Vince McMahon, I don't think, knows about the reality in fighting. He's stuck in that old belief that if he's not 300 pounds and made of fucking Mexican supplements, he's not gonna win a fight. The craziest thing is like that thing that came out. Did you hear what he said about Daniel Bryan?
No, refresh me.
So Daniel Bryan's first match in the WWE was against Chris Jericho at an NXT show when they were still doing the rookies and the pros.
Okay.
And Jericho was super sold after that match. Then he goes up to Vince and he says, "Hey, Vince, you have somebody here. Like, that guy is going to be good." And Vince McMahon's reply, "That guy? He doesn't even eat meat."
Oh, I didn't Jericho. I think he said something along those lines in his book too. He talks about it.
Yeah, that's how out of touch Vince is.
You know, I think Vince McMahon. He's also. I think who did he? Oh, he said CM Punk. He said something about. I know Jericho and Punk want to do their thing at Mania, where if Punk lost, or if Punk lost, Jericho gets to tattoo him. And Vince goes, "Well, he has a lot of tattoos already. What does it matter with another one?" He just doesn't get it. Because it. I don't know. I think Atami, yeah, but going back, I think Atami's going to be shuffled in the mid. But we'll get Bryan and Atami matches. We definitely will.
We will get. You know what? I hope we get too. I hope we get Itami and Rollins matches, and I hope it doesn't end up being like a squash match. Being Seth Rollins' position in the main roster, and how many people. I don't think that many people are aware of who Hideo Itami is.
Well, I want to see Rollins and Bryan too, because they did some good stuff in ROH also. So, I mean, the matchups going forward, sky's the limit. I think that the current roster the current NXT roster is very good. It's a lot of smart mark wrestlers on there. So, I hope.
Hold on. Did you see the Columbus, Ohio show? The NXT on the road?
Yes.
How awesome of a fucking heel is Kevin Steen?
Yeah, he was a good. I don't like Steen.
He was going to keep jumping Alex Riley, right? And then Finn Balor comes out, makes the save. And Finn Balor was going to pull the coup de grace, and what does Owens do? He rolls out of the ring to escape, grabs his belt. Oh, no. He goes around to grab his belt. Alex Riley still knocks out. On his way out, he gives him a kick. That added heel factor, grabs his belt, and bounces.
I don't like. I could see it, but I don't like Steen. I never have.
He is that dude, bro.
Well, but I think he'll. But I mean, even though the guy looks like he's about to enter, the backyard arena, I feel like that. He'll make some waves when he comes up to the main roster.
Not just that. Here's another thing too. I think Kevin Steen should stick a while in the development. Like, again, it's great that he's not even 6 months in his WWE contract.
Right. I mean,
give him another year. But if rumors are true and Samoa.
Oh. We're suffering some technical difficulties here. Francis.
I'm still here.
Frankie.
I'm right here, bro.
All right. So if Samoa Joe comes back comes onto the roster, it's going to be a good time in NXT. I want to see that. I want to see them separate out of developmental and become its own brand. It has to.
It has to. Bro, you are on a position where, all right, Samoa Joe, it's been rumored, like, they're talking to him about signing him.
Right.
There's also rumor that the Briscoe brothers are being talked to.
The Briscoes are locked up.
I think not even that they're locked up. I think it's a little too late for them.
Yeah, I think Jay and Mark Briscoe have already pledged their allegiance to ROH. They won't leave.
But I think the WWE should, since they screwed the pooch on the American Wolves, let them go.
Well, they gave the Briscoes. They went knocking on the door for the Briscoes and they turned it down.
No, but the thing was, they give Briscoes like a ridiculous terms. And here's the thing, man. If you want to lock like the Briscoes up, you got to realize too how it was something where the Briscoes would end up losing money because of the amount of stuff they were doing on the independents. Like, you got to realize, like, those are big names in the independents that you're going after, so you got to at least compensate the amount of money that they're making.
Right. And I hear that developmental wrestlers, I think they make anywhere from 24 to 27,000 a year. Like it's really like
I don't think that's the case for guys like Kevin Steen. I don't think that's the case for guys like Hideo Itami.
but guys like Baron Corbin, but I mean the guys like Baron Corbin
Yeah,
and
guys like Baron Corbin.
old
What's his
Dan
name? Parker? Something Jobber? The
CJ
community jobber?
Parker. CJ Parker.
The community jobber.
Yes, the NXT's resident jobber.
Yeah, so I mean, he's probably getting that.
Oh,
But yeah,
but I guess no, you're right. I mean, I agree. Steen, Balor, and Itami, I'm sure they're making some decent coin down there. Not the coin that they made on.
Generico, Zane, Sammy,
Oh, yeah.
he's up there too. I'm pretty sure. Like, you got to realize these are the like they're coming in WWE, and WWE doesn't really need to spend a lot of resources in marketing them because they're coming in there with steam. It's not like, we've moved past the tape trading era, and you are looking at guys who's doing their own marketing in the independents, gaining a lot of Twitter followers, a lot of Facebook followers, a lot of Instagram followers. So when they go to the WWE, that's actually an added value for the independent wrestler to
They
bring it
bring,
to the company. And I think
yeah,
that's something that they could leverage in their contract. Like, hey, listen, I am worth this much because coming in here, I've worked my way into having this audience. And we are now in a time where you can't really say, like, prove it because all you have to do is open one app. Well, that's how many followers I have. You're
yeah.
telling me I'm worth that much? You're going to put me on your programming and expect me to tweet about it. And
hmm
every time I tweet, this many people sees it.
Yeah. So I agree. NXT has I mean, NXT continues to have a very bright future, and the sky's the limit. I'm kind of curious to see who's going to come up, who's going to get called up after WrestleMania.
Hoo-ha Nation!
Uha Nation.
Bro, this guy, again, the only thing is, they might make him look incredibly, like, have you seen any of his matches?
I haven't. I know I've seen the guy. I haven't seen
He's
it.
like a linebacker, and he moves around like a fucking featherweight.
Wow.
He does, like, some of the craziest shit.
I'll go.
I like his chances in NXT, but it's all about, I think they're going to drop the ball once they get to the main roster. They might make him, I can't even think of the guy's name. But, I mean, look, just for good example. Look how
Monty Brown. The Pounce.
look what happened. Oh, him, yeah.
Eh,
They might do that to him.
my boy.
Marcus Conver or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, Marcus Corvon or whatever the hell his name was.
But I think no. From what I know, though, it was like he's semi-retired. Something happened with his family.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't. I think with that you did not get to see the full effect of Monty Brown because he chose his family over the business.
And that I commend that. That's that was smart of him to do, and he had to make the right decision.
But I missed that shit when he would do the top rope.
The,
He would do that little gimmick.
the alpha male.
Bro, it pisses me off. Speaking of Monty Brown, so when NXT started like a year ago, they
Mhm.
were pushing this fucking guy pretty hard. Gronkowski's best friend, Mojo Rawlins.
Oh, where the hell is he?
Hanging out with Gronkowski, just being fucking
A
like a
bum?
animal. Uh, I sent him a tweet. I'm like, I really dig I really dig the storyline, but I'm not feeling that finisher.
Oh yeah, he should have had the pound. We talked about this.
I told him, I'm like, bro, you should like talk to somebody and just see if you could do the pounds. Like, it's not as believable for Monty Brown because Monty Brown stood at 5'9", but this guy is 6'2", a linebacker.
And he's coming to hit you.
Does the pounds like, especially with that hype gimmick,
Yeah.
like something along with it. Like, if he could get a routine going where like the crowd could play along right before he pulls the pounds, I think that shit would be insane.
Oh, that would have been a great finisher for him.
In NXT, then what happened? Like, what was his exit strategy? Tyler Breeze
Tyler Breeze, was it Tyler Breeze?
fucked him up, I think.
I think he did. And then didn't he like suffer a knee injury? And now that's it. I don't know where the hell he is.
It was a shoulder injury or
Oh,
something.
it was a shoulder injury. Okay.
Yeah.
Tyler Breeze, for all of his, I don't know. I can't put my finger on Breeze. I think he's a good athlete, but I hate the fucking character. I hate the I get it, but I hate the character.
It's a rehash of Rick the Model.
Yeah, only with the camera and his constant selfies and his Prince Pretty bullshit.
I think it's pretty funny during the house show because Ballard took the selfie thing afterwards after he beat him.
That's good. That's right. It's pretty funny.
How you like me now? But yeah, I don't know. He's in a tough spot too. Like, he was, I think, like, NXT was in a position where you had guys vying for the top spot. It was that fatal four-way. They had to bring down Kid, which actually was good for his career. Sami Zayn, Adrian Neville, and Tyler Breeze. And then within a month, you get Kenta, Balor, and Owens.
That's not a bad trade-off.
So I think like that kind of hurt Tyler Breeze's momentum. But next NXT show, they're having a 2 out of 3 falls.
Oh yeah, and I mean, Breeze is a good worker, and that's why I'm kind of like, I could get over the character because I mean he works a good match, and him and Itami work okay together, and that 2 out of 3 falls is gonna be fun.
The one thing though, I think Breeze needs to get it going before Samoa Joe comes. And if I know the WWE is actively pursuing, if they bring Adam Cole, he better be established before Adam Cole gets there.
Okay.
That's another big star to look out for. Like,
yeah, Cole is another big star. So do we so NXT's influence will be greatly more spotlighted after Mania, and I think we cleared up the Mania card, haven't we?
Yeah, should we go over the Divas match? I want to, only because AJ Lee and Paige they're good. They don't fall into that diva thing. Like, maybe I could get a bathroom break. Like,
yeah, I could like go get like some chips and stuff.
Yeah, Paige is like that rampage move. That shit is stiff as fuck.
I like her. I like her finisher, the PTO. That's a badass finisher. The submission hold.
You got AJ Lee, who I feel bad because
AJ, I feel is. AJ, I think AJ's done, man. Not that she's done, but she's accomplished a lot. She doesn't need to be there no more. And
it's a short run.
AJ? AJ's been in the WWE since 2010? It's 5 years.
I guess, but I don't know. I I have her up there with like I don't know. She's a talent that comes in once in a while. I think you should really, despite what the WWE's problem with Punk is, like thank God. I mean, I don't know if AJ's been punished for that. WWE do some childish shit where oh your boy did that, well you're getting punished. Some childish fucking bullshit. But you don't get an AJ Lee that often.
No,
And
well,
for a division that suffered that finally has talents. I mean, granted, Sasha Banks is on the way up. Charlotte is on the way up. And you got talents coming up. Uh, I don't know. I think you should. You should. I mean, if AJ Lee is winding down her career, you should squeeze as much juice out of her
yeah.
as you could. Like, get her to break a couple more records. Like,
Well, I don't want to say they screwed the pooch on the Paige and AJ Lee feud, but that was pretty much the first thing Paige walked into when she got on the main roster. Uh,
well, the thing with Paige is WWE is going to get a lot more mileage out of her.
oh, she's only like what? She's 21, isn't she?
She might be 21 or 22. She's
Yeah,
young.
she's really young. So I think so. Maybe they squeeze the rest of the juice out of it. They squeeze what they can out of AJ. Let her siphon off of Paige, and then let them take it from there. But as far as what is
This
this?
big Divas match for SummerSlam.
Yeah, what is this Divas match even? What's the point of it? What happened? I mean, honestly,
It's a setup for AJ Lee and Paige.
yeah.
Like, I think I mean, the title's not on the line, so I think they get it over. They go over the Bellas, but
Sure.
then afterwards, you start seeing like they're gonna do something like someone's gonna get the pin, like one of those like the Miz style tag with the Mizdow. Where you're
Uh,
happy about the tag. Like this is gonna be one of those things. We didn't really touch on Rusev and Cena or Randy Orton Seth Rollins match.
we didn't. We definitely backtracked.
We almost screwed the pooch.
We almost screwed the pooch. How much time do we have left?
I have lots of time, bro. I'm not even keeping count.
Okay. I didn't know if you wanted.
Alright.
All right.
We can
Well,
3 hours if we want.
we could,
No.
but I won't be doing this 3 hours, Francois.
WrestleMania weekend, bro. Gotta go big.
I
Well,
guess so.
I still want to talk about the Llamas Mendes card before we.
Well, and I also want to touch on the fact that Chris Cyborg just signed with UFC this morning.
Did she?
Yeah.
Fighting what? Are they gonna create a division for her? Because she's not gonna make bantamweight.
I don't. All I know is that she signed, and I think they're gonna. I think Dana's trying to do everything in his power to get him and Rousey set up.
Rousey's already booked. She's fighting Beth Correa.
Well, we'll see. Well, I guess we'll see what happens. But she signed this morning. I woke up to that. No, that's not a woman. That's a man, baby.
That's Mandalay Silva.
all right, but we'll go back and touch on.
The momentum killer. You go feud with Cena, and your fucking momentum is pretty much done. So what happened to Cesaro? Bray Wyatt for the longest time too after Mania. Took him a while to bounce back.
I think Rusev will actually get the best deal out of this program because it's not going to be over if he loses.
Here's
And
the thing, though. The one thing I was hoping WWE would steer clear from is exactly what they did for this WrestleMania build-up. We, again, have in our hands the WrestleMania 8 scenario. Sergeant Slaughter defecting to Iraq to face United States Representative Hulk Hogan. It's been done, bro. Swagger did it.
Hogan did it against the Sheik.
Huh?
Hogan did it against the Iron Sheik. Hogan did it against Slaughter. America versus the evil foreign country is such a rehashed storyline.
Here's the reason why Hogan got away with doing that. Hogan did not have as much exposure back in the 80s. You got to revert back to how much exposure the product has today against the attention span of people. Everything right now, everything is on demand. That man, you got to give them something fresh.
Now.
That's what the writing teams is lacking, is because, bro, you're doing the same thing. Like, leading into the house show, I was kind of like, I wasn't as excited as other shows I've been to, and it's because like the WWE's giving you so much content, and it's like, like Kane and Daniel Bryan. I mean, they ended up doing a really good match, but I'm like, how many times have I seen this? It's not the same as it was in the 80s or 90s, because you would see them on TV like once or twice a month, and then you get super excited. That's why Andre the Giant is that big of a deal, and Big Show is just Big Show.
Right.
Because Andre was more of he's a spectacle. You don't see something like that on your TV every week. He's, like the talk of like everyone in the schoolyard, like, oh man, I saw Andre the Giant, this guy's fucking huge. Oh, word? What channel? Well, it came on last night. I don't know if it'll be on next week, but if I let you know, I'll telephone you. Big Show's like, well, Big Show turned heel again. Hashtag same old shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, that's like one of the things, like, and...
Well, yeah, I agree. It's not a... you see Big Show, I mean, you see him every week. And times have definitely changed. But I think that not that I'm a fan of the feud, but I think they're doing the right thing by the feud. And I think Cena and Rusev are working well. I love Rusev. I love his boss battle music. Lana's great, of course.
Lana's not there. Lana's out filming. You think she'll be there at WrestleMania?
She has. I don't know how they could not include Lana in WrestleMania.
Well, Rusev pretty much screamed at her. Did you see that bonus footage from Raw after Lana agreed to the match?
Oh, where he kind of was like, da-da-da.
Did you see his eyes?
He's bugging out.
It looked like he was just crying. Because
I thought he was bugging.
Like John Cena got him, like, that shit looked like it was like a real thing. Like John Cena was like not playing around and like,
gotcha, bitch.
Like Rusev is pretty, like, he's a pretty stocky, thick guy to be putting in moves like that. Like, you got to be careful because, like, all right, Cena puts a move on Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan does jiu-jitsu, so he's pretty flexible. So, I mean, there's a lot of room in it, but Rusev doesn't look like a guy who's that flexible. You could put in a move like that. Like,
no, he doesn't bend that well.
His forearms, like, across his face, just crushing the fucking shit out of his face. I saw that thing, and I'm like, it looked like Rusev was just done crying.
Yeah. Oh, man. Well, Cena's going to win. Rusev's undefeated.
He's the title.
And he's going to take the U.S. I always thought that why can't a main eventer go back down and fight for a mid-card title? I think that's great.
Two of them. You're getting two of them this time in WrestleMania.
That's it. And that's going to be so... I think it's going to be good for the U.S. title, too, in the long run. Because for the longest, I thought they were just going to unify the U.S. and the IC and just go with 3 belts. But it looks like they're going to keep the U.S. around.
Put it around Dean Ambrose again and never be defended.
And just come out with the belt. Never defend.
Come out with the belt, just look good with the belt. Just keep shining it. All right, Rollins and Orton.
Rollins and Orton is the sleeper match of the night.
Which is pretty funny because their lead-up, if you watch the lead-up from Raw, it is the exact same lead-up for Orton against CM Punk, leader of the new Nexus.
Huh.
Exact same one.
Okay.
CM Punk, pretty much Randy Orton trying to get his hands on CM Punk, only to beat up members of the new Nexus, and Same exact thing happened. Trying to get his hands on Rollins, beat up J&J Security.
Except Orton was part of the Authority, and the reason Orton got tired of the Authority was because of Rollins. That's kind of where that shifts a little. But I completely
But I
agree.
mean, the week. I'm speaking more like the week before the show.
This whole feud started what, since October, November.
Yeah.
So I honestly I find Orton boring. Uh,
Not,
but
I'm not.
what I find Orton boring, but I honestly think that this could be a sleeper of a match, and that's not because I'm a big fan of Tyler Black, aka Seth Rollins. I'm just gonna smart mark that real quick, and
He wins via Phoenix Splash.
oh, that'd be great. That would be great.
He pulled it at the Rumble.
He did. I was like, oh, I was like, there it is. I was like, can't believe he just did that. So, I expect this match to be a sleeper match, though. It's gonna be good.
I actually here's
Orton,
if Orton wins, that speculates that Rollins is due for something bigger later that night.
yeah, but they have a tendency to do. I mean, I'll give the WWE that one thing.
Let me tell you something right now. Orton has an amazing record at WrestleMania.
He has a great record at WrestleMania.
He beat Punk.
He beat Punk.
He beat Cena and Triple H in a
Yeah, to win the title.
last year. No, I think to retain.
Oh, maybe it was to retain.
He wasn't the guy that tapped out to Daniel Bryan last year.
He wasn't the guy that tapped out to Daniel Bryan last year.
Him and Evolution beat up The Rock and Mankind.
Yeah.
Granted, he lost to The Undertaker.
But, the way that goes.
But he followed it up with some pretty good performances.
Randy Orton has been solid at WrestleMania. So, I think he even got a good match out of Kane.
I don't remember that match.
For whatever stupid reason I do. Because I think I remember sitting there saying, why is this a WrestleMania match? It's a Raw match. But that's besides the point.
It's a house show match.
But, yeah, I mean, I think Orton beats Rollins. You keep Orton's momentum, and you put that, so now what's Seth Rollins? Because Seth Rollins didn't get his WrestleMania moment, but he will in the main event.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of hard, especially last year. Last year was the first time the Shield did WrestleMania, right?
The Shield had like a 3-minute squash against Kane and the New Age Outlaws.
Yeah, so that's their only WrestleMania moment.
No, well, then the first year at MetLife, they opened up.
Yeah, that's right. Didn't they have like some crazy match with like Team Hell No?
No, they had Sheamus, Orton, and Big Show.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
I remember because I was there. So that's the only reason.
The streak is still going for the three of them.
What?
The streak is still alive for the three of them.
Yes. So
here's the thing. I don't think Dean Ambrose. I think Dean Ambrose ends the streak.
Dean Ambrose. That's a Dean. Well, do ladder matches count? I mean, I guess, right?
They have to. I mean, it is a match.
It is a match. Okay, so I don't think Ambrose. So Ambrose is done. Rollins is done. Unless they all just lose.
All that you can't have all the streak ending, man. Last year I was pretty bummed that they ended Fandango's streak. Fandango with the greatest WrestleMania debut.
Oh, Fandango had a great debut. Jericho's entrance was the tits, though, man. Let me tell you, that was awesome.
I'm not happy that Jericho's not a part this year. Second year.
Yeah. I guess I don't see Jericho coming back unless like something really entices him. I felt like the Bray Wyatt Jericho feud kind of went sideways.
But in essence, I think that's exactly what Bray Wyatt need to get over that Cena hump.
Was the Jericho feud?
Yeah,
Oh, okay. I mean, once he lost to Cena, that was it.
I I truly believe that that is something that he absolutely needed. It's great that it's great for Jericho to put these guys over too.
Oh yeah. I mean,
Jericho's in a position where he comes back and uh, he doesn't care. Like he put Fandango over.
he didn't want to.
He did not want to. To him, that match did not make sense.
Oh right, yeah. Oh, that's right. He didn't want to do it because it didn't
I
make
think he
sense.
wanted someone like I think Cesaro. Like he wanted one of those guys that. I mean, that's another thing too. Like when it comes to the writing staff, like man, like for them to like have Jericho settle on Fandango. If Jericho's willing to do you a favor, and like, here's the thing too, like, and this is the reason why NXT is doing so good. The brains behind NXT is a former talent.
Right.
So I would give him the benefit of the doubt if Jericho comes up to you. I see something in that guy. Let me work with him, and I'll make him look good. Why would you go and be in, like? Why would you so be intent in saying no? Let's do this because in essence, that was a waste of opportunity. Look at what happened to Fandango. Like, they repackaged him as the same gimmick, but with Rosa Mendez.
Oh, made him a little more darker, a little more edgier.
No, you know what they're doing? They're trying to make him be Antonio Banderas in Desperado.
Nah, not fucking Fandango. Fandango.
I wish we could put up that video image of Jericho just burning on him. I'm a ding dong. The Queen lyric. Scaramouche, Fandango. But I mean, yeah, that was a waste because I don't exactly remember. Jericho wanted to work with someone else, and he was adamant saying, "I really don't want to do this thing for Fandango." And then, sure enough, it did happen.
Yeah.
Hey, pal.
We just need you to do this with Fandango.
Do us a favor, pal. Hey, why don't you come in, WrestleMania? That happened in MetLife too, right?
What? Oh yeah, that happened at MetLife.
Oh. Must have been disappointing. Jericho's huge in the East Coast, bro.
What's up?
Jericho's huge in the East Coast.
Oh yeah, you know what's cool? I was actually at the since the Izod. I went to the last WWE Izod Center event, I guess, because I guess they're gonna pull it down. But it was awesome,
right?
Yeah, the Izod Center's done, bro.
Who did Jericho work on that match?
Cesaro.
How was that?
You know what? It was good. Cesaro even took before the match. Cesaro takes up the mic and goes, "Jericho, it's glad you're back, cause I'm gonna beat the shit out of you." And I was like, "Oh!" Even I was like, "What?" I was like, "That's not PG." But it was good. It was Jericho won, played to the crowd, and it was cool. That's when Jericho was the reverse Brock Lesnar and only doing live shows.
That's hilarious.
That is hilarious.
I wish he would have done it up until Anaheim. I wish he would have done it like over here, leading up to Mania.
So, I guess with no Jericho this year, there's going to be no Austin.
No Rock.
No Rock, no HBK.
Maybe.
Well, maybe.
He is set to induct his buddy, Big Daddy Cool.
Oh, that's right, Diesel. I hope Nash doesn't tear his quad going up to accept his award there.
I hope Nash doesn't fucking tear his squad getting off the fucking airplane ramp over himself.
Oh, that's funny.
All out. Like, listen, Vince, I can't make it. Ted Turner offered me more money. I was like, there's all the fame.
Hey,
Who do you think is the main event? I mean, who's headlining the Hall of Fame?
Nash.
Ah, can't put
Nash.
him over on Macho, man.
Macho Man's not there to accept.
There is, and Hogan is inducting him.
He's gonna
What a
get a.
genius. The
He,
genius is there to accept the award.
I get that, but I think Nash and the Click are gonna close out this Hall of Fame again.
Politics.
Can't do
Well,
that.
no, the Click did not close out the show last year.
Well, Warrior did.
Yeah.
Well, okay, not this year. Well, and then was it the year before?
When who got inducted? Hall was the last person from the Click to get inducted.
Oh yeah, you're right. Okay, never mind. But I think the Click closed it out this year. Wow, I just went all the way back to Shawn Michaels then, and that was a while ago. You
Who's
know what? The WWE needs to actually do something about this Hall of Fame though, because I feel like it's whatever. They don't have no building for. They have nothing for it.
I mean, you get the full live, you get the uncut version.
So, woo-hoo.
I mean, that's really about it. I mean,
I feel like that they should go through with that idea of building an actual building to show up to showcase some of
oh,
the.
that's what I'm talking about. I think they should do it on Full Sail.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That's a huge part of like fan interaction. I think a lot of the stuff that they're doing with the students,
They have the performance centers down there.
the little plug right here
Uh,
to students.
represent Full Sail.
But I think that would be a great move too. Like
Well, that's true. They got NXT down there. They got the performance center down there. So why not have the Hall of Fame building down there?
yeah, because if you're gonna get people like to come in and like look like hey, there's gonna be more people going to Tampa, like booking flights to go vacation to Tampa, than going to Stamford, Connecticut.
Right.
And I think if they try to do like a Hall of Fame like building itself or museum, it's not cost effective to do it in New York City.
No, definitely not. I don't think it should be in New York.
That idea, that's actually a great idea. I think they should do it, yeah, in Tampa. Have it a performance center. Have it, you know, right before you walk into a performance, like kind of like how the Gracie Academy, the main one here in Torrance, is set up, where you
Okay.
walk in. There's like displays of like pretty much the history of the Gracie family, and this and that, and like you have the gym like all the way like deeper inside in the gym. But as soon as you walk in, that's what you see. And I think they should do the same thing. You know who has a good setup?
Who?
Grantland. Have you seen their studios
No.
for Cheap Heat?
Oh no, I haven't.
That's already like 20% of what you need for a Hall of Fame thing, because they have like old ticket bills. Bro, I seen one from the interview with Heyman and Reigns, like one in the background, like right behind Paul Heyman. It was a WWE house show poster from like the 80s in Elizabeth High School in Elizabeth, New Jersey.
Oh wow.
Like they have shit like that. Like that's a pretty fucking G. They have fucking action figures from Hasbro.
Man, I just sold off my Hasbro figures about last year. It was just time. It was just time to part with them.
All right, so we pretty much covered WrestleMania. Let's before we sign off, let's get a little bit of MMA.
Yeah, we want to touch upon MMA. There's a lot that goes on within the MMA world. And we'll dedicate more shows to, more like I can't wait to touch upon McGregor, and Aldo. That's a big card, but that's July.
That's why WrestleMania is only. I mean that's a once in a year thing. So yeah, we spent a lot of A lot of time talking about wrestling today, but rightfully so. Tomorrow's the big day.
Right?
So really quick, fight card that's coming up. It's going to be a fight night. Ricardo Lamas against Chad Mendez.
Ah.
What are your thoughts?
Well, my thoughts. I like Mendez. I think Mendez is explosive, and I could see him coming out the winner. 5 rounds, featherweight. My pick's Chad Mendez.
I am going with Ricardo Lamas, who is
Okay.
coming off a great win against Dennis Bermudez, who was riding a 6-fight win streak. My analysis is Ricardo Lamas is in a place where he fought Aldo for the belt, and he felt that he wasn't really in the fight. He didn't put enough. So I mean, the fight didn't look good. It looked boring because Aldo just kind of coasted. Whereas Chad Mendez, mentally, he's in a position where he had a strong showing against Aldo. That fight was amazing, but he fought his best, and his best wasn't enough to fight the champion.
No, I think Aldo's a great champion. That
Mentally, I think. Plus, you look at like the guys that like Ricardo Lamas fought against the guys that Chad Mendes squashed. With the exception of Jose Aldo, I think I'm going with Ricardo Lamas. I have him pulling an upset.
all right.
Next fight, Jorge Masvidal, one of Kimbo Slice's boys. Like he was in one of those original backyard street fight videos, like
Okay.
against New York's Al Iaquinta.
Uh, I'm gonna stay. I'm gonna stay.
Masvidal's the favorite.
I'm gonna stay close to home, and Iaquinta, let's do it.
Iaquinta's been looking good, man. He just came off knocking out Ross Pearson.
Oh, okay.
And the thing with Iaquinta is he's a young guy. I think he's finally coming into his shell. He's coming from a great camp. Shout outs to my homeboy from New York, Matt Tatara. He's in that camp. And they have a good momentum, man. They have the champ, Chris Weidman, dethroned the GOAT, Anderson Silva. They have
Yeah.
Aljamain Sterling, who I believe is a sleeper in the bantamweight division. And Iaquinta, I think his boxing is just getting better. And this is actually, I mean, if this fight was to stop early, it's because Iaquinta is going to knock out Masvidal. Masvidal is known for starting slow. So I think matchup-wise is a pretty good matchup for Iaquinta. Moving down the card, we have Ultimate Fighter live winner Michael Chiesa. The Maverick fighting Canada's Mitch Clark.
The danger zone. Uh,
Zone.
danger zone.
We might get,
I'm,
we might
I'm
get
gonna,
down from that because that's an Archer thing.
I'm gonna take Mitch Clark just because the danger zone.
No,
And
Maverick is that's Chiesa, bro.
uh, oh yeah. Oh, that's right. Well, so
I'm gonna stick with the favorite. I'm gonna stick with Michael Chiesa. I think he finishes the fight early. I think he finishes it. He's gonna smother Mitch Clark. He's gonna get the takedown, do his magic, get the back, choke him out.
all right.
Moving down, the return of Juliana Pena, who has not fought since she won the first ever women's tough tournament.
Oh,
She's
that's
fighting. She's fighting undefeated Milana Dudivia.
she has three. Dudivia has 3 losses.
No, Dudivia is undefeated. Juliana Pena, I believe, has 3 losses.
Juliana.
I'm going with the upset. I'm going with Melina.
Oh,
Milana. I'm going with Milana in his fight. Juliana Pena, I mean, if you count the wins that she has in the Tough House, that's quite a run. The one thing, though, is she hasn't fought in more than a year.
huh.
So
Uh,
that's an issue right there. And her biggest strength, wrestling, getting fights to the ground, is actually favors Milana. who's won most of her fights via submission.
Well,
So with that ring rust and with her strength playing off her opponent's strongest suit, I have to go with Milana.
I'll side with you, and I'll go with Milana also.
All right, 2 more fights in the main card. The Carpenter,
Yes,
probably
yes,
the most exciting fighter
my favorite fighter
until he joined Team Jackson.
until he became a
He became a Jackson fighter, which is like, hey, let's just bore the crap out of the crowd. Clay
yeah.
Guida, shout out Chicago, CM Punk, Colt Cabana.
Do we want to give Kanye? No, I'm just kidding.
He's probably somehow gonna hijack this podcast. But just just blend in.
Just play.
All right, Clay Guida against Robbie Peralta. Clay Guida, man, he's on a losing streak.
He's on a decline. He is. But if I was a gambling man and I had money on this, I'd take Peralta. But since I don't, I'm going with my boy Clay.
I mean, this is a fight that's hard for me to pick, but Clay Guida, he fought tougher fights, and I think he knows that he's fighting for his job. So he might abandon a little bit of the Jackson game plan and just go caveman Guida on this guy. Pretty much what got him to the dance. If he does that, I like him, and I see him winning. Probably fight of the night.
Fight of the night. Okay.
Another fight of the night potential, and the last fight on the main card. The Diamond.
Dustin Poirier.
Dustin Poirier fighting CDF. Carlos Diego Ferreira.
Ah, man.
Both guys coming off losses. Of course, Dustin Poirier came off a fucking beating from the Irish King. And Carlos Diego Ferreira came off a loss to Benny Dariush.
I like the Diamonds Are Forever, and so is Dustin. Dustin's winning.
Here's the thing, though. I like Dustin, too, but, bro, he's moving up to lightweight. This is a lightweight fight. Carlos Diego Ferreira, man, he knocked out Ramsey Nijem. I mean, he was pretty undefeated up until Benny Dariush, but I think Benny Dariush is going to do a lot of big things in the lightweight division. Benny is one of the champ's main training partners. Trains over here, Huntington Beach. He's part of that King's MMA camp. Really amazing fighter. I go with the upset on this one. I think Carlos Diego Ferreira, he either submits this guy or he wins it by decision.
Decision, yeah. All right, well,
so that's the card. And we did pretty much everything. We covered some NBA. We covered WrestleMania. We covered some UFC.
That's it, man. That's good. So this is kind of the format that we're looking to kind of play with. It's not, as everything goes, it's not concrete. Things change. We go off course sometimes.
It's not concrete. I mean, that's the thing too. We try to give you a show that's unedited. Try to deliver in its raw, purest form. What we say, we can't take it back.
That's right. This is what we said.
And in keeping counts, I have one over you.
You know what? You do have one over me, but don't worry, I'll be back.
This is just episode 1, but I might have won this fight. But
hey, man, you could take the lead, but don't worry, I'll have something for you because I'm the greatest heel in backyard history. So.
I'm not impressed by your performances.
Oh, that is yes.
All right, so our next show, wrapping up this week. Our next show, we are trying to get the epitome of all heels. The heel who I base all of my heelness from. We're talking about El Craze.
El Craze. for the next
Evan
show.
Rose's uncle. He's gonna sit down with us. He's actually. It might be a pretty heavy NBA show.
Yeah, we get. All right, well, we're almost 10 games out of the season's almost over, so this would be a good time
We're
to.
actually gonna get into brackets and talk about brackets.
Okay, yeah. So we'll be on the bracket talk next time, and we'll start gearing up for the NBA playoffs.
All right. So for the HeelCast, this is Frankie Fame,
This is the Mad Dog.
Vinny Fucci. We are
Yeah.
signing off.
Peace.
Adios.